You carry a ghost inside your genome, a genetic echo from a species extinct for tens of thousands of years, not a metaphor. If you have European or Asian ancestry, about 1 to 2% of your DNA is Neanderthal. That means you are not entirely Homo sapiens. You are part Neanderthal, and that changes how you think about your immune system and sleep schedule. But here's the unsettling part. Some of those Neanderthal genes might be actively shaping who you are. So the real question isn't whether you have Neanderthal DNA. It's what that DNA is doing inside you. What traits did you inherit from a species that vanished 40,000 years ago? And those traits survived while the Neanderthals themselves did not. That's the puzzle we're about to unpack. In 2010, a team led by geneticist Svante Pääbo at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology published the first draft of the Neanderthal genome. They compared it to the genomes of modern humans from around the world. The result was unexpected. Every non-African population tested carried segments of DNA that matched the Neanderthal sequence. Africans, by contrast, had almost none. The simplest explanation: interbreeding. Somewhere between 50,000 and 60,000 years ago, modern humans leaving Africa met Neanderthals in the Middle East and had children. Those children carried Neanderthal DNA forward. Today, that genetic inheritance is baked into your chromosomes, about 1.2% on average. But it's not evenly distributed. Some Neanderthal genes are common, others are rare, and some have stuck around for a reason. That encounter left a permanent mark on the human gene pool. But what does that ancient encounter mean for you today? So when you look at your own DNA, you're looking at a fossil, a preserved record of an ancient encounter that happened inside your own ancestry. In 2014, a team led by Benjamin Verneau at the University of Washington published a detailed map of Neanderthal ancestry in modern humans. They found that Neanderthal DNA is not scattered randomly, it clusters in specific regions of the genome. Many of these regions are involved in immune function, skin pigmentation, and hair traits. For example, a variant of the gene BNC2, which influences skin color, shows up in many Europeans and traces back to Neanderthals. Another set of Neanderthal variants affects keratin, the protein that builds hair and nails. So your hair texture, your skin's response to sun, your immune system's readiness, all of these may carry a Neanderthal signature. Verneau's team calculated that about 20% of the Neanderthal genome persists in some modern humans, scattered across millions of people. That means no single person has all of it. But the species as a whole has preserved a mosaic of Neanderthal traits. It's a living inheritance. Your hair, your skin, your immune system, they are all partly Neanderthal inventions. Neanderthal DNA does shape your mind. To find out, researchers like Michael Danneman and Janet Kelso at the Max Planck Institute turned to large biobanks linking genetic data to health records. In a 2017 study, they identified Neanderthal gene variants associated with mood, sleep, and pain sensitivity. One variant in particular, linked to the gene SLC6A11, affects how the brain processes the neurotransmitter GABA. This same variant has been associated with a higher risk of depression and a tendency toward earlier waking. Another Neanderthal variant influences circadian rhythm genes, making carriers more likely to be morning people. The implication is striking. Your sleep schedule might have a Neanderthal origin. Your tendency to wake up early or stay up late could be shaped by a DNA inherited from a species that lived in the high latitudes of Ice Age Europe. Your morning alarm might be fighting a Neanderthal rhythm. Neanderthal DNA isn't just about traits. It also influences disease risk. In 2020, a team including Hugo Seeberg and Svante Pääbo at the Max Planck Institute and Karolinska Institute discovered that a cluster of Neanderthal genes on chromosome 3 significantly increases the risk of severe COVID-19. Carriers of this haplotype are about 70% more likely to require hospitalization if infected. The variant is found in about 50% of people in South Asia and 16% in Europe. That same Neanderthal gene cluster also affects immune response to other viruses. But not all Neanderthal contributions are harmful. Some Neanderthal variants protect against certain pathogens. For example, a variant in the gene OAS1 inherited from Neanderthals reduces the severity of COVID-19. So, your risk of getting seriously sick from a virus might depend on which Neanderthal variants you inherited. Your body's battle with disease is, in part, a legacy of an extinct cousin. There's a deeper puzzle. Why did some Neanderthal genes persist while others were purged by natural selection? A 2015 study by Fernando Racimo at the University of California, Berkeley, showed that many Neanderthal alleles associated with gene expression in the brain were rapidly removed from the modern human gene pool. That suggests they were harmful. But other regions, particularly those affecting the skin, immune system, and metabolism, were favored. The leading hypothesis? Neanderthals had already adapted to the cold, high UV environments of Ice Age Eurasia. When modern humans arrived, they benefited by acquiring those pre-adapted genes. In other words, Neanderthals gave you the tools to survive outside Africa. Your ability to live in colder climates, your skin's ability to handle lower sunlight levels, your metabolism's efficiency in different environments, all of these may trace back to a Neanderthal contribution. Your very presence in a northern city may be thanks to a Neanderthal ancestor. But not everyone agrees that Neanderthal DNA is an unalloyed benefit. Some studies suggest much of it is neutral or even slightly detrimental. For example, a 2016 analysis by Kelly Harris and Rasmus Nielsen at the University of California, Berkeley, found that regions of the genome with low Neanderthal ancestry are enriched for genes that are essential to male fertility. This suggests that Neanderthal variants may have reduced fertility in hybrid males, contributing to the eventual loss of many Neanderthal genes. In other words, interbreeding may have been costly, and the Neanderthal genes that survive today might be the lucky few that weren't weeded out, not necessarily the best ones. So the story is not a simple triumph of hybrid vigor. It's a complex dance of advantage, disadvantage, and chance. Your Neanderthal inheritance is a mix of helpful, harmless, and harmful. Where does that leave us? The reality is that Neanderthal ancestry is a mosaic. Some regions of your genome carry beneficial variants that helped your ancestors adapt. Others carry variants that increase disease risk. And most are likely neutral, evolutionary leftovers that haven't been cleared out. What's clear is that the Neanderthal contribution is not a single story. It's thousands of individual genetic stories, each with its own history. And our understanding is still evolving. New studies continue to implicate Neanderthal DNA in conditions ranging from lupus to smoking behavior. The more we look, the more we find. But one thing is certain, the line between us and them is blurrier than we thought. Go back to that cold open image, you standing in front of a mirror, looking at your own face. You can't see the Neanderthal inside, but it's there. In your hair, your immune system, your sleep cycle, your vulnerability to disease. The species that vanished left a piece of itself in you. But here's the final unsettled point. If you carry parts of a different species, the boundary of self is unclear. Your genome is a blending of two lineages. And if that blending shaped your mind and body in ways you can't control, it raises questions about free will, identity, and the nature of being human. The mirror doesn't answer. It just reflects a face that is, genetically speaking, a product of an encounter that happened tens of thousands of years ago. And that encounter is still unfolding inside you. And that makes you a walking archive of a lost world.